Okay, so basically right now, kind of on purpose, there are not many people watching this live. I've just only like sent a few tweets and Facebook messages about like maybe an hour ago. I'm gonna post this on Reddit as well. But we are, that's my first time actually live streaming something, and my target is to get like acquainted with the media and see if there are some people that might be interesting into this. So I will likely share this video after that on YouTube. And just to give a bit of context, so here is the project. You can find it again in on GitHub at this address. And the idea is to analyze your location history, like from your phone, to detect crossings, like when have you crossed paths. The context of this is obviously this is March to 2020, so if you are living anywhere in the Western world, you probably have heard about coronavirus. And I have absolutely no scientific background or epidemiologist background, but you usually hear that analyzing the spreading from human to human is something that could help with preventing the disease to spread more. So it is something without any scientific background about its usefulness, but I'm still trying because I think it's a cool project, and I would like to develop it. So during this first live stream, we are gonna first analyze the data that's coming out of your takeout.google.com, which basically is your own location data. And then we are going to try to generate some fake data because I don't really want to disclose all of my travelings in these videos, and I think it's better to kind of like have some more relevant model analysis than just try to tweak with one single person data. And yeah, so it will not be anything fancy. It will be just about writing code. And before starting this live coding, I'm just gonna like log in on my Reddit account and share the link. So please allow me a few extra minutes, but it should be fast if you are patient enough. So I'm logged in Reddit. I'm still trying to find back the idea I had about. Okay, I'm just. So. Okay, I need to share the link to this, which is probably this. And yeah, post. Just posting the link on Watch People Code. It's called Location Analysis with Python. And yeah, so let's get started. If you comment anything, just know that I have like solid 10 seconds delay between whatever you write and whatever I see. Like whatever you write and whatever no, let's rephrase. When I say something, you have at least a 5 or 10 seconds delay before seeing what I've said. So basically I'm gonna clear this and I'm gonna go here again and clear. So those files are what you get if you go on Google Takeout. So California, if I click like about here, it actually says about the right thing. So I'm pretty sure that the coordinates that we have here are the first time that I enabled location history on my Google account. So that's the history of things. We could deliberately use use that location and those data. The thing is that like XML, I have some kind of prejudice against it, meaning that it's a bit harder to parse, and we are going to focus more on the JSON. So I'm coughing. Is it coronavirus? So I'm gonna let's look a bit more in what is in the classical location history. So here I have our first folder called, whoopsie, why don't I see anything? Okay, oh yeah, because I call cd, I should call head. So I'm going to display the first 20 lines and look at the location history.json. And here it's basically the same data, and I see that indeed 122 was the location, longitude, and latitude was actually, I was expecting it to be the first, but in fact it was the second. So here I see that this file format for me is much more convenient, because I have a timestamp which I know easily how to go back into from a date. I have a location which is identified by a latitude and a longitude. And actually here I am missing the decimals, and I know that this says like probably it's 10 to the power of 7, so I have to skip the first 7 digits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's where I had the comma in the previous file to actually get the actual latitude. Same thing for the longitude. So it means that they basically have chosen to encode the file and the latitude as an integer rather than using a floating number. I guess it's more for compression issues than anything. So that's the first thing, and just to have a more exhaustive look about it, we can look here. There is another folder called semantic location history that contains your data. So I'm going to access the first one. And it was in April, so let's go for April. That was when I was gladly visiting California. And I'm going to take an extra few lines because actually like you have more here. So here, so this file is much more structured. That's something that we have to notice. And here we also can see a few elements which may be relevant. For example, I have timeline objects instead of just having a list of timestamp and locations. And in those timeline objects, I have place visit, which I don't really know what it means. It's probably like some kind of thing that is encoding the fact that I spent some time at this place. They indicate some location confidence. They indicate some start date time about when I arrived there, when I left here. They indicate extra information about the confidence, the kind of like the center point of this location, and similar things. If you look it up a bit more, and we are going to display a bit more lines and see if we can have more information. If you travel, for example, if you took a bus or something, they have analysis about it. For example, they tell you, okay, you went from point A to point B, and we think it was likely that you were walking, or it was likely that you were using a car. And here, as we can tell, I don't have this, so I'm gonna add extra lines to see if we can have this information that I saw into other months files, and if we don't, that's fine. We're just gonna skip it. As far as I can tell, we don't have. But nevertheless, here we have like place visits, and if you are traveling, using your car to go to point A from point B, you have the exact same kind of structure. So basically they tell you, okay, that's what we think you have been doing, okay, and we have some level of confidence here, which I think is expressed in percentage. But we also have some other candidate location. And here, for example, so they were assuming that there was at least location, but they also thought that I could be in Robles Park, or in something that doesn't have a name but has a location ID, or in something called like Code Me Up or Right Commercial Properties. Like it's basically other companies or places which are nearby. Were nearby, because I don't know if they are still around. So this thing here kind of provide the same granularity of information that we can expect, for example, with someone traveling from point A to point B. And here the target is to help people, how to say that, to help people give a grade if, for example, someone was traveling from point A to point B. Google guessed that it was a bike travel, but maybe it was a car travel, and it gives you a vector of probability. And it's likely that if you see two persons that, for example, were both likely estimated to travel by train that have the same distribution vector, that they actually were traveling together. So like this is something that could be more useful, but it's a file format which is much more complex, and so we are going to choose to only use the first one. So the first one is the one that we investigated first, which is this one, where you basically have a list of timestamps, location again, and accuracy. I don't know what's the unit of this accuracy. To be honest, and actually I see that I have a few extra details like activity here. I'm just gonna add like maybe like 100 or like maybe 400 lines, and I'm gonna visualize this in less. And yeah, so here, for example, I say so for this precise location here, Google says, okay, and create a new PyCharm project, and so this we don't need. Final video output. Yeah. Anyway. So, and I managed to close PyCharm because I was so bright that I don't know what. No, okay, no, is it? Is it not? I don't know. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna create a new project. No, I mean maybe just open the existing one. I'm not an alcoholic, but I started having an online app hero is a family, and this glass still full. Let's not waste it. So here I have the Locax project, which is basically empty right now. So here, we first need to have a, whoopsie, I have it here. So we need to have a, virtual environments, which is something in Python that helps you to have like isolated elements. So we are going to first install it. We are going to use Python 3. That's why I set this -p Python 3 thing here. And we are going to activate it here, even though I don't think we need to install or use anything. We are going to create a new directory called src, where we are going to store every file. Here we are going to create a Python package called Locax, which is basically our project name. And so here, the first thing that we are gonna do is to create a package that is here to generate like a fake location history. We're gonna call that like location generator with, yeah, I don't know what's the norm in Python. I think it's this. Okay, so here we're going to create a new Python class called location generator. Oh, some comments. People are alive there. Thanks for the feedback. Okay, so people are telling me that it's hard to hear me. I'm gonna try to switch to my phone connection because like right now my internet at home sucks a lot. Give me a second, and I'm gonna just try to tether and see if it's better. And hopefully we will keep it. So I need to plug my phone, some kind of electricity thing. Try to okay. Just asking for comments if it's better. So here we are just gonna create a class called location generator in Python. So I'm doing all this live, so don't like expect confusion, especially because I'm not practicing Python every day. So I may mix it a bit with PHP or JavaScript because that's my home languages. But anyway, we are going to try to do something proper. So we are gonna also add an extra class how can I create Python class here? Location generator, yeah, okay, that was not what I was meaning to do. I was willing to actually create a class called location generator. I missed it. Okay, let's rename this file. Okay, this directory is useless. And I'm going to create another file called location generator context, which shouldn't be a package but a class. Okay, it's fine. Okay. So here, this file will be mostly there to like materialize in which environment we are creating this. So we are just gonna initialize it with a few elements. So to generate a random location from someone, we are going to consider that these people are navigating in a grid, which will be identified with an x-axis and a y-axis. And so we are going to store like what's the minimum axis x-axis value and maximum x-axis value. So here I'm going to say that the minimum x-axis value is 0. And so yeah, so the maximum will be 100. The minimum y will be 0 as well, and the maximum y will be 100. So here it gives us like some context, and if we need some other stuff to put here, we are going to put them here. So here then my location generator will be initialized with not a contact but a context, and this is going to be a private attribute because nobody has to know about it, so we are going to put it here. And just to be like clear about what this class should be doing, we are just going to have to add some comments. So this class should generate, a location history for a single person. And then, so that's also something I prepared, where so a person has a dwelling, so like that's where they live, like home, where they come back, like which is their base points. A person has between 4 and 5 interests, like points of interests. And a person has 10 like medium point of interest. I'm going to explain about this once I'm done writing this. Indentation is not a multiple of 4. It should be. It is to me, but anyway, I don't know what is this problem. We'll see it later. So basically here the idea is that to say, okay, a person has a home where they basically like they sleep there, so they have to go here there every day. A person has between like 4 and 5 points of interest, and between these 4 or 5 points of interest, I mean, maybe it's their parent house, maybe it's their work, maybe it's their gym, maybe it is like any place they would go to like on a daily basis. So maybe not every day, but most of the days. Let's say like 3 to 4 points of interest. And then a person have like 3% median point of interest. What I mean there is that like it's point of interest to which you go regularly, but not as regularly as the first ones. And here that's why we also have the context. So we need to have points of interest map, which will be like generated here. So here I'm creating this function, which will be private. And basically this function is gonna just like number of points of interests to generate, about 100. And then like we are gonna just generate that amount of point of interest. So we don't actually need this variable. And we are gonna generate from 1 to 100. I'm never sure about like how Python is generating thing. I just want to know if it includes the 2 or not. Okay, thanks. Can I do this? No. Can I maybe do this? No. Okay. I think that it's an iterable, so I'm going to just do this and see if it works. Yeah, okay. So basically the last number is excluded. So if I want 100 point of interest, I need to start at 0, and then we'll be good. I'm going to create a single function in charge of generating a single point of interests, where actually like interest doesn't need to have an S, and points though here needs to. Okay. So, so first this function basically like what's point of interest is a point that will be generated between like this mean x and max x and mean y and max y. So again, if I go here in Python, if I import random dot rand, I guess, is it? No, maybe dot random. Okay, cool. That gives me a number which I think is between 0 and 1, and after a few tries I see that yes, it's between 0 and 1. So I'm going to create another function called get random number between the min and the max, and our like random value is equal to random dot random. Let's import random here. So yeah. So here I have a delta, which is the difference between my max and my min. And this delta should be applied to the random number. So for example, if I have like 100 of difference, this number, which is between 0 and 1, will end up between 0 and 100, which is exactly what I want. The thing is that if the minimum here is maybe like 100, so min would be 100 and max would be 200, then delta is 100, but I still need to add the min. So it's min plus the delta here. And is it number or value? I'm going to say get random value just to have a uniform vocabulary across the different functions and variables. So here a single point of interest is actually an object like slash dictionary, which has a random x and a random y. So it's not super advanced in terms of simulation, but you know, why not? Okay. So here we have a point of interest which has been generated. So now the only thing we need to do here is that for one at a time, we store in points of interest all the points of interest that we have created. Yeah. Does it work? Yeah, cool. And here, of course, the range is ended in C. So here I'm going to initialize this array to be like an empty array, and then I'm going to call a function that is loading things inside it. And yeah. So oh yeah, so here min and max are not good viable names because they are shadowing Python internals. So I'm just like gonna rename this to something that is not shadowing Python internals, because it's a bad idea to shadow Python internals. Don't do that at home. Get random may be static. Yeah, maybe it may, but we don't care about it. Okay, so we said that our person has a home, which actually may also be, again, a random value between those numbers. So I'm just gonna rename this function to first make it public, so without a leading underscore, and I'm gonna call it get. No, wait. I'm gonna keep this function private. Sorry. I'm going to rename the generate point of interest to be like generate point, and to be more precise, it's going to be random point, and we're going to make it public, so without a leading underscore first. Okay, so here we have something that is outputting a single point, and we are going to reuse it above. So the home here will be anything linked to the context dot random point. Is it the name? Generate random point. I actually hate that kind of name. Generate is easy. Get random point because it's returning it, so that's perfect. This one could still be called generate because it's actually like filling some internal properties and not actually returning anything. So I'm just gonna like put it here. Yeah, okay, that could be okay. So we said it's called get random point. Does it exist? Does my ID see it? No, it doesn't. Is it get random point? Yeah, maybe I should add type to context, but to be honest, I don't know how. So let's skip it that way. So like the home of a user can be anywhere. Since it can be anywhere, there is no way like to try to bias it, to like fix it on some existing point. Then a person has few interesting, like I'm gonna call it key interests points. And so let's does random.shuffle exist here, if I'm correct? No, it's not. Yeah, it needs an argument. So for example, here if I provide it with an array with 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, so I'm gonna set my array here to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I call random.shuffle over A, and then I print A, so it's shuffling A. So I'm just gonna shuffle So I'm gonna need this as well. 5 space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, indeed, there is a problem here. So I import random, then I will shuffle my points. I will shuffle whatever is in context dot. No, I can't have auto completion about this. It's not interest points, it's points of interest. Here, okay. So I'm shuffling. My points of interest. So here I am going to shuffle the attribute, so the class variable of my context object, but I don't mind much because like this point of interest, they don't need to have some kind of relationship order, so that's fine. I'm gonna check if I can have a random between some mean and max value. So I'm gonna call random.random between 1 and 4. Does it work? No, it doesn't work. Maybe rand int. Yes, it works. So here I see that 3 is included, so it's mean and max included. So number of points of interests, and I'm going to rename this to be key points of interest, just to have some vocabulary that is consistent with the rest. And so this is random between, we said 3 to 4, so we say here just like 3 to 4. So now here context is an array that's been shuffled. So we can take this array here and say I want to extract every value from 0, which means like the first item, so we don't even need to mention it, to number of key points of interest. And this combined with the shuffling of the points of interest will extract a random number of points from context that shuffle interest, and of context points of interest. So I don't know, why is it highlighted? Yeah, because there is no blank line. So okay, now there is a blank line. So now, if just to be sure about this, I'm gonna create an array. A is already an array, right? Okay, and I'm gonna say I want it until index 2. So it is actually not including index number 2 because this is index 0, 1, and 2. So it's number 2 excluded. And since it's the number of elements that I want, here if I say 2, I get 2 elements. That's exactly what I want. So this, for now, is perfect. Over-indented for visual indents? Yeah, because perfect. So now I have my list of my points of interest, and then I just need to have a secondary list of points of interest, and I'm gonna call it secondary. Is it English? Secondary, is it? Yeah, okay. So number of secondary points of interest, and I said that I want 10, so it's basically 10. I'm gonna just hard code it. Now if I say here, whoopsie, If I say 0, the return is the same. Now if I say 1, so if I say 2 here, plus 2, okay. So this is the starting index, and this is the end index excluded. So the first index here is the number of points of interest, which I've already extracted, and the other thing is the number of points of interest to which I need to ask the number of initial point of interest. So I'm going to just rename this variable to be number of key points of interest. And yeah, it's kind of dirty. I'm trying to have something more readable. Can I have something like that? Not perfect. All right, create a variable. Gonna call it extract from index, and I'm gonna call this extract to index. Okay, I'm just going to like I'm back in a minute. Need to come back. Okay, so the minute is over. I still hope that the stream quality is okay. So what we have now is that we have a location generator, which is actually like fitting his description over there. And now we need to implement how a person journey through their day is working. So I guess at some point we need to create function called get day data. Then how are we going to work with this? We are gonna have an input variable called days ago, which will be like means that I want some data generated for X days ago. Okay, so So here there is a small program. I don't know if it works with Python 3. I have absolutely no idea actually. It's called bpython, and then here you can import packages, like for example I'm going to import time, and you have auto-completion, which is very convenient. So here, okay, so I guess this is giving me the current the date time, which is kind of useful and more or less exactly what I want. The only thing that I don't have, so this will make it easy for me to go X days in the past, but then I will need the date to be set at midnight to have the day starting. So current timestamp equals, we said it's time.time, so let's go for it. Okay, that's good. X days ago timestamp is equal to current, current timestamp, and this is 1 day in second. It's going to be a useful intermediate variable. So 1 day in second is like 24, so that's because there are 24 hours times 60 because we have 60 minutes per hour times 60 because we have 60 seconds per minute. So if we do this, current timestamp minus days ago times 1 day in second, which actually deserves an S, it's plural. We have a timestamp that is actually matching the timestamp happening a few days ago, and then we just need to get it properly. I'm just making some kind of private research. Okay, I'm gonna do get timestamp at midnight Python. If you can wait a quarter of a second, I'm gonna do something very useful. Okay, so this code here seems to say like how to get the date of midnight today. So the best way to test it is to go here in VPython and then to see what I get if I just get midnight. And it basically says today's date and things which are 0 and I think are actually minutes and seconds. And if I called their time function, I get something which I don't know what it is. Okay, no, it's just the time. I want the timestamp. 2, maybe? No. Date, time, to timestamp in Python. So that's a way to get datetime from a timestamp. And here we see that we have a timestamp method in the datetime class. So if, for example, I say datetime.timestamp, well, good luck, because this doesn't seem to exist. No, it doesn't. Not datetime, timestamp. Yeah, okay, yeah, exactly what I typed. Okay, let's try in Python 3, because I'm not sure that my interpreter in the right is Python 3. It might be Python 2.7. No attribute timestamp either. So if then I call midnight dot timestamp, what do I get? Nothing. This answer is very inconvenient. So I guess I will not accept this as a decent answer. I really hope that there is, like, when I see Sorry, I lost the count. Where is it again? When I see answers like this, I really wish that someone somewhere did something more convenient. Yeah. We agree that this object doesn't exist. Okay. Oh, well, that seems more or less what we want. Even though it takes actually a lifetime to get this information, it seems quite relevant. So we try? Shall we try? It feels like what we want. So here I call timestamp or time. Datetime, is it? I don't know. Okay, fine. Well, first it's rounded, so I think it's actually working. Current date, time, and let's see what I get. I just want to see it online. So here we say that this is milliseconds. So yeah, it seems likely that the time that we got is 831. Yeah, so it's slightly less than one we have here. Makes sense. This is a plausible answer, so we're gonna use this. So we said, where is midnight again? So midnight is the detail here. Whoa. Okay. So we define midnight daytime here, which means what we have imported daytime and time from daytime. So let's be nice people and do it. So that gives me midnight daytime, and then we just have to format it as strf time array. I think I can do that. strf time with, we said backslash, no, %s. Fine. So that's the midnight timestamp. And yeah. And what does datetime today gives? Date time dot today. Is it timestamp? No, it's not timestamp. Okay, so now I want to update time in Python from a timestamp. Okay. From timestamp, I have something here. That's lovely. let's try again. So let's put this, and maybe let's see what it gives us. And if we say that it's not 600, it's 605, like 5 extra seconds. Okay, integer is required. I guess just removing this is fine. Year is out of range. I wasn't going to say from ordinal, I was going to say from timestamp. And it works. Nice. So X days ago timestamp now becomes 8 days ago datetime, which is equals to date time dot from timestamp X days ago. Okay. And this needs to be casted to integers. I think that this should work. No, it doesn't. This does. Okay. So now we have timestamp at midnight. Now I'm going to create a function called get points of interest to visit today. So what I want here it's sorry, I made a kind of thought about it. Okay, so I want 3 out of 5 of my all like X visited places. Let's say it's 1 to, how to say that? 1 to how many? Let's say 1 to 4 visited places. 3 over 5 probability for one place to be a key point of interest, 3 over 5. Secondary point of interest, 1 over 5. Random, so something else that is not in the first lines, 1 over 5 either. So, number of visited places equals random dot random 1 to 4. I think this is good, but again, like the best thing I have in my life is definitely not my memory. It's rand int. No, it's not. Oh, I need to import random. Okay. Okay, this is perfect. Did I import it random? Yes, I did. That's good. Points of interest. Okay. Those points of interest need names, otherwise we are not gonna be able to recognize them. So I'm just extending my class here and say that the point of interest actually has a name, and this name is actually equal to the name we provided. And then when I generate this point of interest, I'm calling intern variable name, and I had this I, which is the index of my point of interest, initial index, and so I'm injecting it. Okay. So now we know how many points of interest we want to generate. So I will do this for every time we have a point of interest to generate. So from 0 to the number of visited places that we want to have. I'm going to create a random number. Between 0 and 5, no, actually I want it between 1 and 6, and I want to be sure that this is actually okay. Whoa. There is a 6, so the 6 is included here, so actually I want between 1 and 5, which is consistent with what I wrote here anyway. So then if random number is below 4, it means that we are covering the first elements here. Then points of interest that happened, and then I'm gonna shuffle my key points of interest. Random dot shuffle. And then I'm gonna just take the first one. And I continue. So continue means that I'm gonna skip the other iteration and try to then generate. Then if random number is less than 5, then I'm gonna do the exact same thing as above here. But with the secondary point of interests, and then I'm gonna return the 5-star names of this. And otherwise, I'm gonna shuffle the point of interest in my contexts, and I'm gonna take one from them. Sorry. So this gives me the random points of interest that I want to visit for today. It's not really today. I'm gonna call it in one over one day. Over one day. So then what to do? Actually, it's not midnight timestamp, it's current. No, it's midnight timestamp. And then I have elapsed time, which start at 6, meaning 6 in the morning, times 60 times 16, which is like actually 6 hours. So now, I'm going to iterate over all the points of interest to generate. So from 0 to len of points of interest. And this will give me the right index to consider. I'm going to create like, I don't know, point of interest to visit, point of interest index. Yeah. Yeah, why not? Okay. So something's wrong here. I don't know what. Okay. So now what I want here is to generate like different time to stay at different positions. Because I don't want people to visit a point of interest and to leave exactly after that. Uh-huh. So first I'm gonna initialize my day data, just saying that I am at my dwelling. Sorry. So for now, we are not gonna handle latitude and longitude. We're just gonna fake data using X and Y coordinates. Sorry again. And I'm gonna set a tag here. Sorry. Okay, cool. Sorry again. Give me a second, please. Coming back. So, so I initialized my day data starting at home anyway. Then I can say I have next day timestamp, which is equal to my midnight timestamp. Ooh, midnight timestamp plus 1 day. And 1 day is 24 hours times 60 minutes times 60 seconds. Or I just need maybe this like 1 day, and that will be fine as well. I don't need this. So I gonna take the so my point here is to locate intermediate data points. So for example, I'm home, and the next point of interest is my work location. My point in my day data here is not to say I'm home and the next second I'm at work. I need to generate some kind of intermediate steps. So considering that I have different point of interest to visit, and that my day starts at 6 something a.m., I need to modelize how to travel from point A to point B. So I'm going to create a function called mean time to wait at position, which will be equal to so 1 day minus the time at which I'm waking up. Let's say it's 6 a.m. So that's the total amount of time that remains on my day, divided by the number of elements that I need to visit today. That will gives me like the amount of time available per location. And then I need to switch location one time, so I need to like time to switch location, and I'm going to say that switching location takes me 20 between 20 and 30 minutes. Oh, let's do exactly this. So 20 minutes is 60 seconds times 20. So let's make it 10. Takes between 10 and 50 minutes. And this is minus time to switch location. Cool. Just I want to be sure again. So A here is not an array, but I'm going to initialize it. 1, 2, 3, 4. A.pop equals 4, and then A is empty. Okay, so I'm going to do this. So that's my next point of interest. The first thing I want to do is to say that I stay at my current position. Yeah. Should I say that? No, I shouldn't say that. Okay. So I'm going to tweak my location data so it can take a move data. Okay, so that's my initial point. I'm going to do it here. That's going to be easier. That's going to be easier. Okay, so start side point, which is basically equal to my home. Okay. So that's my starting point. My next point of interest here is my kind of endpoint. So that's I'm gonna call it start POI for point of interest before anything. I'm going to start moving to this point. After elapsed time plus mean time to wait at location. Okay. Then the next point at which I'm going, and I want to go over X seconds, and I want this time to be exactly equal to time to switch location. So, can I range from 1 to 100 with 25, and I'm gonna make a list of this and see what it does. Perfect, so that's exactly what I want. So I want to have for timestamp, how can I call it? Intermediate timestamp in a range going from elapsed time, oh shit, no. So I'm gonna go from the current like timestamp at which I decide to move to the timestamp I decided to move plus the time to switch locations. And I'm gonna set a step of 60 seconds. So basically I want some kind of intermediate timestamp every 60 seconds. Maybe it's a lot, so I'm gonna say 120 seconds, which is like about 2 minutes. No, maybe it's not enough. I'm gonna say 60 seconds, that's gonna be fine. Maybe I should say less. I should say like 30 seconds, that's gonna be fine. And this is timestamp precision. I'm sorry, we have a lot. That function is get day data is getting very long. I would usually like stop here, but we are going to need some kind of things. So the next point of interest need to be used. Actually, this needs to be above for sure. That's my next. That's where I go. So. I'm gonna call this like end timestamp. So I create a function called get intermediate location that is gonna follow the following specifications. So it's gonna first have a start location, end location, start, time, stamp, and time, stamp, and a current timestamp, which basically, so let's say, for example, that I go from point A to point B, and I know I do it over like 10 minutes. I want to know where I am in 5 minutes. So my progression here is equal, so I have a timestamp, a delta. Let's just call it a delta, which is equal to and timestamp minus start timestamp. Okay, so that's my delta in terms of timestamp, but I want to normalize it, so I'm gonna divide it by the start timestamp just to get some norm around it. I should divide it by the bigger number to have something which is below 1 always. So I'm going to divide by the end timestamp. Progression here is equal to be like current timestamp times delta. Whoa. Was hast du gemacht? Times delta, but actually it's minus the initial starting point. Okay, so that gives me a progression. So this is a number that varies between 0 and 1. 0 meaning that, so if this is 0, it means that current timestamp is equal to start timestamp, so it's at the beginning. And 1 means that basically current timestamp is equal to end timestamp. And so then I can return something like this. My location data has tag, which it basically tells that what's happening now. So I'm going to say that this tag here is move toward, I'm going to say move dash, move to dash, plus and location tag. Then we have an x. So what's x? X here is equal to, I'm going to call a variable called delta x, which is equal to my end location, x minus my start location, x still, times delta, so that's how much, no, so that's my delta actually. That's my should I call it that way? Sorry. Yes, okay. So x then is equal to the initial x plus my delta over x times my progression. Please note here that nothing has been tested here. That's terrible. You shouldn't do software development like that. And then I have a delta y, which basically is again combining, doing the same thing over y, and then x equals x, y equals y, and we have something that should do it. Okay. illegal target for viable annotation. I don't know what this means. Maybe if I do this. Yeah, lovely. Lovely. So here I'm getting the intermediate location, which start location, end location. So my start location is my start POI, which I'm going to rename to be my current POI. And I'm going to my next POI. And I'm doing it from my move timestamp, which is my start timestamp, like that's when I start moving, and my end timestamp for the move. And the last variable is my current timestamp. And this gives me like my current position. And so then my day data are equals to, they're not equals to, I have something called get location data with a current position, and the tag is moving toward plus next POI dot, no, not dot, tag. And after all this, I just return my day data. Okay, the only thing that is not required here is to fake here the tag, because we have to okay, move toward. No, I am missing here something very important, which is a timestamp. So here I'm just adding a timestamp. And here, so at the beginning of my day data, actually my timestamp is here. Current, oopsie-doo. Current timestamp. That's important. And so here, I also need to inject my intermediate timestamp here. Okay, we gave it a name, and in the other file it's a tag. I think we can manage this. Okay, I'm just like proofreading everything. So I think that, there is one slight problem after this whole iteration. Then my current point of interest is equal to my next point of interest because I've made the movement towards it. Which means, by the way, that now my elapsed time is equal to what? Is equal to this. I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit tired, I guess. So the smooth timestamps that I'm saying that I'm gonna move at midnight plus the average, the time that has already elapsed, plus the time to wait. And I'm gonna hand my move at midnight, like all this, plus the time to switch location. So my elapsed time right now is equal to my end timestamp minus my midnight timestamp. That makes sense, and that should work. And then I should have the datas. Here I have something, okay, unexpected type. Okay, fine. So a few hours. I think I've been streaming for about like what? I saw a timer somewhere. Yeah, one hour, like about 2 hours. So I think it's fairly honest to call it a day. Next time, the thing is that we wrote all this code that seems to make sense, I mean, at least to me, but the next step would be to actually test it. And by test it, I mean like writing unit tests to be able to have some decent idea about whether or not it should work. Actually, it's not random int, it's rand int. Sorry, I'm seeing bugs on the fly. And yeah, so I don't know where I will be doing the next cast. If you have any interest on this, please just like write a quick comment. On YouTube, I'm gonna I'm gonna read them and see if there is an interest, and if so, I may cast more programming days. Anyway, have a good evening, a good night, stay home, stay safe, and see you another time.